Hey y'all, I am back in the garden. It has been 3 days since I've been home. We left Friday around noon to head down to St. Augustine to the beach for the weekend. So we were gone Friday half a day, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then half a day today, which is Monday. And so I have not seen the garden since, and no one has watered or taken care of it for me while I was gone. So we're all going to get a look at it for the first time together. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to walk through and see what it looks like. Okay, so the strawberries are a little bit wilty, so we'll get them some water going. But the cucumbers look fine from on this side. Oh, I see one that I forgot to get my basket. I'll have to go back and get my basket. And the herbs look fine. There were some caterpillars on them when I left, but I don't see them now. The mint looks fine and the lemon balm. Okay, these squash are pretty wilty, so we'll get them some water going and they should revive just fine. All of the zucchini looks fairly good. I don't see much wilt on it. This pollinator bed may not revive. We'll have to get it a bunch of water. These zucchini are wilty. The tomatillos, those are what I was afraid of while I was gone, that they would look super wilty. Oh my god, awful. Okay, hopefully we can revive them. And then all of this squash looks fairly decent. I see some squash on it that we got to pick off. And then the cucumbers look pretty wilty. I think a few days though of taking care of them. And this tomato is falling over. That is bizarre. I'll have to pick it up. I think a few days of reviving them and it will be fine. Let's go look at the tomato garden. So I think the tomato garden looks fine. I see the okra on the end down here. Looks a little frumpy. There's chickens in here, but this okra looks a little frumpy. All the rest of the okra looks fine. And these tomatoes don't look half bad. So I think everything survived. We will get the, my chickens are out here eating though. My tomatoes. Yeah, my chickens are eating the tomatoes. That's pretty irritating. So my microphones died at this point and I did not realize it. I'm in the process of doing research to figure out which microphones to get, but what I did is I went inside and I got a pink bucket to put the overgrown squash in and my regular black bucket to put the squash that were still a decent size in. And at this point I am just going through the garden and I am looking for all of the produce. These are the lemon squash. They're a heavy producer, and when I left I thought I had picked most of it off, and even in just 3 days you'll realize how big these got. The lemon squash tend to be very seedy, so I decided that these were probably too big and that the seeds were going to be too big for them to be enjoyable to eat. So I'm just going to give these to my chickens. They'll enjoy them and I won't waste any produce. I've already frozen so much produce for the rest of the year that I just really don't need to freeze anymore. And then you'll see me compare the size. This is the size that I normally harvest, and then the size on the left is the size that it accidentally got to while I was gone. So we'll keep the smaller size in our basket and I'll give the larger size to the chicken. squash, and again, you'll see the one on the left is the size that I would normally harvest, and the one on the right is what they were allowed to get to while I was gone for 3 days. Again, I'm just gonna give the larger ones to the chickens, and the smaller ones we will keep and eat. Here's where it got really funny, because I started harvesting patty fan squash that were the size of my head. No, literally, look, this thing was the size of my head. The one on the right is the one that I would typically harvest, and the one on the left is the ones that were left for 3 days. Y'all, I swear these were like the size of maybe a quarter or larger when we left. So that's how fast the garden can literally grow overnight. is actually one that I was using as a sacrifice plant to get more seeds for next year. So what we're just gonna do, since it's already nice and brown, a lot of these are already dried out and have the seeds already on them, the ones that didn't fall out while I was gone. So we're just gonna put these in a Ziploc bag, and I'll harvest the seeds over the next few days out of the ones that we save. And those will be the seeds that we use next year when we plant our calendula. Try and hand water everything. I don't typically ever use these sprinklers, but since we're out of town, in my Okay, I'm going to record some of this without my microphone because I think my microphone keeps cutting in and out. So if anyone has a great suggestion on a microphone, that would be amazing, because I just cannot get the ones that I purchased to stay connected, and they also, all the others have horrible results online. So I'm going to record this without. She went and fed the goats some of the big cucumbers. Are they liking them?
Yes.
Yes.
One of them loves it, and he's trying to chase me to get it.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm trying to feed some frost.
All right, go feed them. So, like I said, these were attacked by my chickens. My chickens don't normally even come over here, but I guess since I wasn't gone, they were allowed to run feral for the weekend, and they decided to attack my large tomato. I'm gonna leave this one. Anyway. And we'll pray about these. It's hard not to get annoyed when you leave and come back. But for your sanity, you need to take vacations, and there's just only so many weeks out of the year that we can vacation. And I think it's important to spend that time with your family. And there'll be tomatoes that are other places that'll produce, so it's not that big of a deal. And all the vines are coming back. They'll all come back with a couple days of water. I knew 3 days wouldn't make or break, so I think it was just those few larger red tomatoes that they could get to that they pecked little holes in. Of course they would. I think these will all be fine. We came straight home and got straight back to work, of course. All of these green beans that I planted up under, oh, like, look, okay. This week, I need to start checking for green beans because it looks like they are producing. Yay! So I went in this year, and hopefully y'all can hear me over my husband's tractor. Oh yeah, there's lots of green beans that'll be ready this week. Tomorrow we'll start going through and picking green beans. Like, there's some that are definitely ready. We don't want those to get too mature. Oh yeah, look at all of them.
Are these gonna turn?
I'll also come back through tomorrow and clip any diseased limbs that are on these tomatoes. I found a cucumber that we missed when we were collecting cucumbers. This is everything that we got. Like, look how giant these are. Like, that's the size I typically get them, and that's the oversized basket. Since I came home and watered everything, and the strawberries are back somewhat perky, and all of the squash that was wilty is back looking good. The tomatillos, these were actually wilty before I left. I've never planted anything in this bed, so I'm not going to say that it's gotten any type of wilt. So I'm curious if maybe the tomatillo just wilts every afternoon, because now it's back looking like its normal self. And then the cucumbers are back nice and perky. I think both sides. Yes, both sides are back, and these leaves were completely facing down, if you remember from the beginning of the video. And the tomato garden didn't look bad at all. This gets tons of afternoon shade, and I think that that is super helpful as well, whereas my raised beds get the shade late in the afternoons. I mean, it's in the 90s. The horses are even hot and splashing themselves with water. So it's just that time of year where we're going to have to start watering probably twice a day. This was all wilted too, and he's nice and back full again. So hopefully over the next few days it continues to recover. It's already recovered a lot in the last hour since I watered everything, and the sun is starting to slack off on us. So hopefully it is all recovered, and 3 days without water wasn't too terrible.